I'm Carolyn Hartley, Associate Professor at the University of Iowa School of Social Work and co-chair of the MSW Curriculum Redesign Committee. And I'm sharing with you today some really exciting work that we have been doing in the School of Social Work to transform our Master of Social Work curriculum. So first, I want to tell you about the design approach that we've used to inform our work. So we're using something called backward design. And backward design is usually used for individual course curriculum development. And it starts with asking questions like, what do I want my students to be able to think and do by the end of this course? Or how will my students be different by the end of this course? And what we did with backward design is we applied the perspective to the entire curriculum. And we started our process with this question: what do we want our MSW students to look like when they leave our program? So the first step in backward design is to develop what are called enduring understandings. And enduring understandings summarize the important ideas and core processes that reside at the heart of the discipline and have lasting value beyond the classroom. So these enduring understandings synthesize what students should understand, not just what they should know content-wise or be able to do, but what they should understand as a result of studying a particular content area. And we started this process of developing these enduring understandings through lots and lots of brainstorming, looking at field supervisor surveys, student exit surveys, gathering feedback from field coordinators and key informants in the field, and lots of back and forth conversation to develop the 5 enduring understandings that are now that have been driving our curriculum redesign process. So our MSW enduring understandings include social justice, seeing the world through a social justice lens, and acting to dismantle structural oppression and social injustice are the core to the mission of the social work profession. Ethics, that social work values and ethics are central to our professional identity. The systemic perspective that people and their environments are interconnected. Critical thinking, that social workers are critical thinkers and problem solvers. And use of self, that the awareness of self and an effective use of self are crucial to effective relationships at all levels of practice in order to facilitate change. So then the second step in the backward design process is to develop what are called essential questions for each one of your enduring understandings. And essential questions are provocative questions that have no simple right or wrong answer, but rather they're questions that students will grapple with to develop the enduring understandings. And essential questions should also raise other important questions for students to grapple with. So this is an example of some of the essential questions that we developed for the critical thinking enduring understanding. So they include what is having students grapple with, what is critical thinking? What is lost when somebody doesn't think critically? Why is critical thinking important for social work practice? And how is evidence-informed practice a critical thinking exercise? Step 3 then in the backward design process is to develop what are called types of evidence. And this types of evidence are things that the students will demonstrate as they grapple with those essential questions. So these could be formative assessments and activities that students are doing in the classroom during a particular class session, or they could be summative assessments of papers or other assignments that they're submitting to be evaluated. And you develop this evidence for each one of the essential questions for each enduring understanding. So for example, our critical thinking, some of the types of evidence might be that students are able to explain key findings from research, or they're able to interpret information gathered during an assessment, or apply supporting evidence to identifying, evaluating, and planning to solve problems, or being able to reflect on the connection between self-awareness and critical thinking. And then the fourth step in this process that we've been engaging in was mapping the essential questions and types of evidence across the semesters of the program. So we started with the 2-year program, which is students coming into the program without a BA in social work. And what we looked at was, what is the developmental progression of students learning around these questions and types of evidence? So what do students need to grapple with first, which would be in the generalist or the first year in the program, before they're ready to advance to those higher level types of evidence and essential questions that would make up the second year or the specialized curriculum in the program. And so through this process of mapping the essential questions and the types of evidence around our enduring understandings led to us developing our new curriculum structure. So I want to share that with you next. So this is what the new curriculum structure for our 2-year program for students coming in without an undergraduate degree in social work would look like. So the first thing to share is that our new curriculum structure reduces the number of hours that students need to complete from 60 hours to 54 hours. And it also adds a third specialized course in the second year, where previously students only took 2 advanced or specialized courses in their area of specialization. So in the first year, students will take a course called Thinking Like a Social Worker, and this course will focus on the systemic perspective, foundational ethics and ethical decision making, and just generally sort of socializing students into the profession of social work. The development of professional use of self is a more specific skill building course that will help students look both at develop their ability to self-reflect and also use self strategically. And then they will have that opportunity to practice interpersonal communication skills in that course. And then they'll also take 2 theory and skills courses for working with individuals and families, and then also for working with organizations and communities. In the second semester, they'll take their first social, economic, and environmental justice course, and an engaging with evidence course, which is the research focus course, and their foundation practicum. And then the second year, students will either select clinical practice or leadership practice, and they will take their first level of the course in clinical or leadership in their first semester. They'll take a program and practice evaluation course and a social, economic, and environmental justice, a second social, economic, and environmental justice course. So we're also excited about the opportunity to add a second course on this content, and they'll begin their advanced practicum. And then in the spring semester, they'll take their second and third levels of either clinical practice and leadership practice, along with their advanced practicum. And we'll still be offering an accelerated program. So this will be for students who already have a BA in social work and who meet some specialized admissions criteria. And this particular program, we're excited to share, it has also a reduction in hours, where previously students had to do 41 hours to complete the accelerated program, and now they'll only have to do 36 hours. And this, I think, will be really advantageous for students, because we were getting a lot of feedback that 41 semester hours to complete in 2 semesters in a summer was a really, really heavy load for students. And so we feel like the 36 hours will be much more feasible for students to complete. And we think it'll also be more attractive for recruiting students into our program. So the accelerated students will take an accelerated organizational and direct practice course in the summer, and then they'll take the same sequence of courses in their second year in the program that students without a BSW or a BASW will take. So next, I just want to share with you the timeline for our transition to the redesigned curriculum. So we'll be admitting our first cohort of students into the new generalist curriculum. So students who do not have a BA in social work will enter into the program in this new curriculum for the first time in fall of 2022. And then in the summer of 2023 is when we will admit our first cohort of accelerated students under the new curriculum. And then in fall of 2023 is when we will roll out the redesigned specialized curriculum, or the advanced year. So we're currently in the process of finalizing the learning objectives and developing course pool content for the generalist curriculum. And this year, we're also embarking on gathering some feedback from the field to help us to identify the focus and the content for our clinical practice and our leadership practice concentrations. So if you are an alumni of the School of Social Work, we're going to be sending out a survey to all of our alumni really soon to ask for your feedback on, what changes you're seeing in the field, what thoughts you have about how students need to be prepared for the changes in practice out there, ideas you have for content that might be included in either the clinical practice or the leadership practice. So we hope if you get that survey, you'll take a couple of minutes to complete that and send that feedback to us. And also, if you have just any other questions or comments or feedback about our redesign process, we'd be delighted to hear from you. So please feel free to send me an email with your thoughts, or if you want to set up a time to talk with a member of the redesign committee, we would really look forward to the opportunity to hear your thoughts. So thanks for your time.